Steam has a major problem. It can only ever seem to catch W's, okay? Besides not being able to count to three, but that's Valve, and that one admittedly pretty big Bitcoin problem 3 weeks ago, Steam never has any issues. Which has led, sorry, I'm knocking over cans, which has led to a discussion as to whether or not Steam is a monopoly. Personally, I would say yes, they are a monopoly, but no one actually gives a fuck because they produce a good product. So no one really cares. People only care about a monopoly if the monopoly is a poor product.
Despite seemingly doing nothing, Steam just keeps on trucking and earning millions of dollars.
Steam doesn't have to do anything.
In fact, right
They
now,
can if they want, but they don't need to.
Valve, Steam's parent company, makes more money per employee than Facebook, Apple, and Microsoft at around $3.5 million.
Oh, hell yeah.
That's absolutely bonkers money for a company that essentially runs a platform for distributing video games and has done so since 2003. Gabe Newell, Valve's creator, has racked up a net worth of approximately $11 billion,
Love
and
that.
again, he hasn't really done anything crazy over the past few years, such as chasing trends or latching onto AI to sell his work. In fact, you've probably already played or seen footage of the games he helped develop, such as the Half-Life franchise, Team Fortress, Portal, and Counter-Strike. In comparison to the rest of the fast-paced gaming industry, he sits back and watches his babies bring in the money.
Yeah.
However, it's the
He
fact
doesn't
that he
need to.
isn't doing anything that is actually him doing something. The gaming industry has become
People shouldn't
increasingly
be in
bloated
chat.
over the years with microtransactions, annoying ads, and frustrating user agreements. Steam has remained relatively streamlined, accessible, and easy to use over the decades,
To be
making
fair,
it an attractive choice.
Yeah, Epic Games especially, but like all other video game publishers, their wet dream is somehow, some way, Steam goes under. They don't give a fuck how, just somehow it goes under.
For those who just want to play games and not deal with the fluff. Not to mention the constant sales on the platform which work to serve the consumer more so than greedy corporations,
Yeah,
leading to trends
literally one of the
acknowledging
biggest
fact that
memes
it's all
about
too
Steam is, oh, the sale was so good, I accidentally bought 10 games instead of 5, and now my backlog, I have too many games. Is a Steam meme. You go on Xbox, fuck me, try and find a game that's even 10% off, let alone like 50.
easy to throw money out of your
A
wallet.
good
whenever
game, not
they
like some
occur.
shovelware.
Are you ready for a miracle? Are you ready for a miracle? Are you ready?
Steam takes a 30% commission from every sale of a game, which is fairly steep, but the company has remained so successful over the years that they've never changed it. In fact, when Epic Games made millions from Fortnite's microtransactions, they briefly attempted to take on the king of gaming platforms with their Epic Games launcher. With
Yeah, the
extreme-
Epic Games launcher is so ass. I hate and I need to use it to play Fortnite. Because sometimes I like to boot it up and play some no build. Or I go into ranked because my rank is like, because I never play ranked, my rank is so low that it's just nice for me to play around for a bit, you know? But I have to wait like 15 fucking seconds for the launcher to even boot.
competitive rates and the ability to poach major releases as exclusives for up to a year, it seems like they were ready to take on Steam for the crown. However, Steam responded by changing nothing, and it would appear it has still come out on top. Steam has faced Epic, EA, Blizzard, Amazon, Google with their now defunct game streaming service Stadia, and Microsoft with Xbox Store, which looked great for a while thanks to its cheap Game Pass, which has now, unfortunately,
Expensive.
skyrocketed in price
Yeah.
and is less value for money. Notably, the war against Epic Games was one of the biggest and flashiest, thanks to Epic launching its own storefront after the smash hit success of Fortnite giving it megabucks. As stated prior, Epic tried promising tactics, charging a
To be fair, if you're buying video game keys off like G Shui or something, usually Epic Games keys are like half the price of Steam keys because no one fucking wants them. So sellers will sell them dirt cheap just to get rid of them. Now, that being said, I would still buy the Steam key over the Epic Games key, but it is just something to keep in mind.
less substantial fee to game developers.
Like,
So this
literally, the
release is-
only upside about the Epic Games store is that no one uses it, therefore it's easier to buy off-the-market items.
exclusive to its storefront and free games on a regular basis. This seemed to work for a short time, but it wasn't long before Epic realized all the money it was constantly throwing at its own storefront in an attempt to beat Steam was for naught. Steam remains one of the most popular gaming platforms in the world, simply due to the fact that it has had enough time to become incrementally better with every update, without adding too much bloat or annoying
Holy.
features that detract from the experience. Epic's own storefront felt clunky and weird upon release, and it is extremely annoying for gamers to have to open different launchers with accounts and authentication and figure out what game goes in what library. People just want ease of access, to be able to click on something and have it just work. And multiple accounts for multiple storefronts and launchers simply takes away.
Yeah. EA, Epic, I don't give a fuck that Steam starts. That's the only one I actually want, so it can start if it wants. Steam, EA, Epic Games, GOG, and there's another one that I'm blanking on. Activision. All activate, all start at the same time. Along with Discord, Surfshark VPN, I think that's it. Oh, Opera starts as well.
From that simplicity. Hence, despite Steam being more expensive for developers to publish their games through, it still beats Epic. Meanwhile, Ethan Evans,
also has a
former VP of
bigger,
Amazon Prime Gaming, said Steam beat Amazon despite the resources of the larger
market.
company because it was a store,
Like, there's
a
more
social
users.
network, a library, and a trophy case all in one, and it worked well. The only storefront that seems to compete in Steam's niche is GOG, aka Good Old Games, which doubles as a place where older games are repackaged to work on modern hardware. Plus, GOG
Yeah, to be fair, if I'm buying an older game, especially one that's known for being like clunky, I buy it through GOG. Because GOG usually has like some mods built in, like bug fix mods and stuff.
has its own launcher that combines every other launcher into one place called GOG Galaxy, so it's clear they understand what people actually want rather than ham-fisting in bloated features. Not to mention Steam has its own console called the Steam Deck, which allows people to easily play games in their Steam library when out and about. Right now, it's not as powerful as other handhelds out there, but the fact that it works so seamlessly and so consistently
I mean,
makes
I
it
would
an
never buy it,
extremely
that's just
popular
because,
piece of technology,
I would never get
ultimately
any use
ensuring
out of it.
users return to Steam despite the alternatives. As a result of these consistent wins against other companies, it's worth taking a look at the personality behind Steam, Gabe Newell, whose relatively laid-back attitude may be responsible for giving rise to the platform's popularity with gamers.
Yeah, to be fair, Gabe is a
61-year-old
big
Gabe
person.
Newell, often known as Gaben due to his username, is the creative and entrepreneurial driving force behind Steam's success. Over the years, he's managed to create an almost cult-like fanbase that consistently boosts his celebrity status, despite the man basically just being a huge nerd.
Sure, people talk shit at me in chat, and about once a week, people say, "Hey, noob, uninstall the game," and but that's really about their enthusiasm for the game.
It's that nerdiness
Oh,
that
I
fans
love that.
find
That's cinema.
endearing, as the popularity of
Would
games
have
has
to be
only
right
increased
back.
over the years, making enigmatic figures such as Gabe prominent icons of the industry. After all, as mentioned prior, his company Valve is responsible for some of the most famous games of all time, like Half-Life, which only exists because Gabe initially worked for Microsoft and wanted to show that games could run well on the Windows operating system, which he had helped develop. Valve then launched Steam in 2003 as something of a launcher/updating system for Half-Life and its mods such as Counter-Strike,
Holy
which
shit,
at the
man.
time a lot of people hated because
It's amazing how it looks both the same and so different.
it was initially clunky and weird while accessing their games. Steam started turning into a storefront for Valve games, and then it became a third-party publisher, removing the need for developers to distribute their products in brick-and-mortar stores, reducing costs dramatically and allowing flexibility unheard of at that time. The ability to digitally download, update, and patch a
Steam is a steaming pile of in 2005. That did not age well.
game was not extremely popular during this era, as internet speeds were far slower, but Gabe was able to see the future and where it might be headed. As mentioned prior, other platforms have tried and failed to take a slice of Steam's success, as it would
They
appear they
probably
ran
never
the issue
will.
of going against a launcher
Again, GOG has a portion of the market, admittedly, but that is like specifically for retro games. Or not retro, it's like Pac-Man and shit. Like old games, like 2010 and older. It kind of has a kind of has a monopoly over them, the way Steam has monopoly over just about everything else, to be honest.
that simply cornered a large chunk of the market extremely early, becoming the go-to distributor for games that almost every PC gamer has installed already. Meanwhile, the cult of Gabe's personality and working style runs through Valve's ethos from the company's employees, who operate within what is known as a flat organization. Essentially, instead of a traditional hierarchical structure within a company, almost everyone is able to cross departments at will without lording it over others.
Cool.
It seems weird, but in this instance it works well, given the results of making more money per employee than the other tech giants. However, Valve has come out and said that this style did lead to poor production in the 2010s, although employees have said they still work this way. Meanwhile, it would appear this laid-back attitude has manifested in Gabe Newell's later lifestyle, as he says he's technically retired but still works 7 days a week doing whatever he wants.
Gabe still
He
does
likes to
fuck all.
hang out at his boats
Well, not
and go
fuck all, he
scuba
does whatever
diving,
he wants.
and it's great to see a ridiculously rich billionaire actually do cool shit with their money rather than attempt to chase trends and only garner more power. This is why Steam, despite not really doing anything new or innovative,
If you
is
think about it, Gabe Newell was the OG aura farmer. Do what you will with that information.
so refreshing in its existence. It reflects Gabe Newell's personality as a powerful player on the market that has made it to the top, yet doesn't appear to want to exploit its customers for as much cash as possible simply because it doesn't need to. The consistent ability for Steam to continue winning has become one of note, thanks to its ability to make corporate executives scratch their heads, wondering why gamers always use it instead of their own launchers. Not to mention the fact that the marketplace Steam has implemented has also had real-world effects, as the changes to the
Yeah.
Counter-Strike 2 items have led to some
was
skins
kinda funny,
losing
though.
over $1 million in value, and others skyrocketing. Also, Steam ended up seeing more players on Battlefield, EA's own native title, than EA's own storefront and launchers simply because it couldn't keep up with the influx of users. However, whilst the idea that Gabe Newell does nothing and keeps winning has become something of a trend, it's not entirely true. All of Valve's attention seems to be directed toward ensuring Steam continues to work as a well-oiled machine, instead of toward making new games and experiences. Deadlock is on the horizon as a MOBA hero shooter, yes, but Half-Life Alyx was arguably
Yeah, I want to play Deadlock, but I don't think I'm going to like it. I'm still going to try it, but
the last big release, and that came out way back in 2020 as a VR exclusive. As a result, it makes sense that the company would focus on their main moneymaker, and with data showing Steam to be the most popular game distribution platform in the world, why wouldn't they focus on constant small improvements? In short, Steam keeps winning because it seems to be in a privileged spot of popularizing the idea of the digital publishing platform when others couldn't see so far into the future, as well as ensuring its storefront remains streamlined, free, and
yeah, another big thing is even if, like, some new, hypothetically say a new competitor came around, right, and they're just as competent as Steam, there's a very good chance that people just wouldn't use them because all of their games are on Steam, right? So the longer Steam is around, the harder it is for competitors to come into the market, and that's the same with any field in the world, to be honest. But with something like, I don't know, a car, right? It's, oh, well, you can, exchange your car. You can just buy a new one. Like, most people don't really care if they change car. It's just, if it's better or whatever. With Steam, it's like, oh, I have $1,000. I have $2,000. How, I have a lot of money on this of all my games, and I just rather not deal with 2 accounts. So I'll just stick with this, So competitors can definitely try, but not only do they have to get over the hurdle of being better than Steam, which good luck, they have to be so unbelievably far ahead that you would have to be stupid not to use them. Which I just don't see that happening, to be honest. It'd be cool if it did. Just like as a consumer, it'd be great. But if we're being honest, no, it's not gonna happen. Like, let's just be real here. But yeah, Steam is a monopoly, but no one gives a fuck because they deliver a good product. And at the end of the day, that's all a consumer really cares about. if you think about it, most people don't actually give a shit if a company's a monopoly or not, as long as they're doing what the consumer wants, which is very reasonable. That is a very, like, normal stance to have. So, yeah, pretty good video. Thank you, lessons in internet. Wait, what the fuck? You're still a thing? Holy. Anyway, I will see you all tomorrow.